lyrics to that song, all we can do is be there for each other and help each other through going through. Last night, I had the opportunity to go up to San Jose and participate in a sound bath meditation series. Now, I hadn't attended one in quite some time. And it's an event that I would like to bring here to our community in Monterey. And I've been working with Reverend David DeLulo, who sponsors the ones that I went to in San Jose. And he's booked through the year, but I have another contact that is a little bit more local in Santa Cruz that is willing to come down. So I will be working with the board and with our team to plan some dates. So it's just really a nice time to be together. And what David invited us to do for the concert, because in those types of experiences, we take away whatever it is for us individually. And so what he invited us to do was to close our eyes during the time of the concert, the gathering, the meditation, however it is that we defined it for ourselves, and to just feel the vibration of each one that was there in the audience. And it was just a really powerful experience. So today we are concluding our April series, Giant Gentleness. And this is a concept that emphasizes the power of gentleness on a cosmic scale. And our topic is gentle cosmic-ness, reproducing the divine. And I want to begin by thanking you from the bottom of my heart, from the totality of my heart, not just the bottom, the totality of my heart. Thank you for your graciousness in receiving and embracing Reverend Dr. Georgia Prescott last week. I sent her an email, as I do with all of our guest speakers, asking what could we have done better to have made your experience even more delightful. And Reverend Georgia responded and said, absolutely nothing. That the community, the love and the embracing of this community, the generosity, especially of Denise, who was her point of contact, and for everyone, especially those who participated in the workshop, deep, deep gratitude. And she did say, I would like to come back. And so we will find opportunities to welcome her back to our community. This morning, as we lean into this concept of giant gentleness, I start with this quote by Rumi. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. And then by the famous Anonymous, let us take this gentleness to a cosmic level, breathing in truth, changing our perspective, and celebrating life. Gentleness is loving and supportive. And we know that the source of giant gentleness rests within our spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer practices that we use in Science of Mind. And the prayer begins with recognizing that there is one life, and that life is in all, as all, everywhere, and all the time. And then we go on to recognize our unity with this one life, knowing that there is nothing outside of it. It is perfect, it is whole, it is complete as it is right now. This life is to be lived, enjoyed, celebrated, and loved. Every part of it is a constant expression and expansion. And this is the part I would like for you to focus on. This life is to be lived. It is to be enjoyed. It is to be celebrated. And it is to be loved. Giant gentleness allows us to stand in the truth no matter what the challenges are. And in this place of giant gentleness, we direct our predominant thoughts to this idea and to this truth that love is in all and as all. And we remember that all of life is sacred and holy. We're a part of this sacred journey and are united in our shared beliefs and commitments to our spiritual growth. Together, we can and we do embrace the path of love and unity. In a recent newsletter from Cirque du Soleil, there is a section titled Fact or Myth. And one of the new facts that stood out for me is that each performer does its own makeup before the show. Each performer does its own makeup before the show. There's a makeup team that trains the artist on how to do their characters' makeup so that later on they are totally autonomous. And so as I was thinking about this and connecting it with gentle giantness, giant gentleness is demonstrated in the fact that our Science of Mind teachings allow us to develop a personal spiritual practice that connects us to the divine and empowers us to be totally autonomous, meaning that we have choice in living in this material life. This autonomy is a source and inspiration and is also a place of empowerment. So using the principles of Science of Mind, we celebrate all of our wins, all of them. And at the same time, we do not deny the struggles and the pain. We remember that we are individually and spiritually connected. We remember who we are. And remember, life is more significant than the news, the trends, and the forecast. And so I want to share with you a couple of illustrations or some aspects that tie into our Science of Mind principles and practices. And the first one is this aspect of humanity. We may choose to focus on the bad news, people committing atrocities against each other, increasing crime rates, and so on, leading us to give in to the bad news and to give up. An example of this: pro-Palestinian protests continue at major United States universities, with hundreds of students and faculty being arrested. Protesters say they will not disperse until specific demands are met. And on the opposite side, there are calls to denounce the pro-Palestinian protest on the U.S. college campuses, citing them as anti-Semitic. And so the way this is playing out in the media, it is an invitation for us to choose sides. And you're either for one and against the other, or you're against the other and for another. We each have different views and our local interpretation. We each have different views and interpretations of local and international events. And these may change our perspective or alter our point of view from time to time. And I offer these words from William Faulkner. Never be afraid to raise your voice for honesty, truth, and compassion against injustice, lying, and greed. If people worldwide do this, it would change the world. And we can cite other philosophers like Martin Luther King, like Malcolm X, like Gandhi, like Rumi, all these spiritual avatars who have in essence said the same thing, that we raise our voice for honesty and truth. And honesty and truth depends on our perspective. And so it behooves us to be in that point of active listening to what the other, and recognizing that there is no other. It is just an extension of who we are. But it's an opportunity to engage in active listening and to hear what another has to say, or to hear the experience that another has lived. We do not deny issues and situations. We use the opportunity to practice love rather than to get lost in the tragedies and the traumas of what is going on. We remember there is so much more to life than these circumstances. And we return again to the teachings of Science of Mind, recognizing that there is only one life force energy, which is present everywhere, all the time, and alive and well in humanity. And this leads to the second aspect of giant gentleness, and that is love. Remember, love is greater than anything else. So the invitation is to pour our faith and actions into love, a force that transcends all boundaries and unites all of us in oneness. And here's a story of love, and it also ties in with the aspect of humanity, where getting to know an experience or a situation or something about our background can change our perspective and our point of view. This is a story in the book Rooted by Lydia Lynn Haupt, and it's a story of Francis of Assisi. Francis was called upon by the mayor and begged him to intervene with the ferocious wolf that was causing great havoc in the community. The wolf had slaughtered livestock, attacked shepherds, and even killed the guards that went to slay her. The story illustrates the power of understanding and compassion in resolving conflicts. In Lydia's interpretation of the story, she says that Lydia's interpretation of the story is unlike some of the other interpretations. And so here's what she reported. Francis stood in the wolf's presence, respecting the animal's wildness, apprehended her story, and called her sister. Think about that for a moment. He stood in the wolf's presence, respected the animal's wildness, apprehended her story, and called her sister. And when Francis returned to the village, he shared that the wolf had been injured and her pack had left. She was just hungry, and when people attacked her, she acted out of self-defense. Where do we see ourselves in that story? When we feel that we are being attacked, when we feel that we've been abandoned, when we feel that we're alone, and there's something driving us to succeed and to care for ourselves, and an outside force comes in, what is our natural response? To push back, to rebel. With new information, the townsfolk helped the injured wolf find food, and they coexisted without fear. Now, we may unpack this story in many different ways. There's so many different levels to this that are not included in this short synopsis. But I think the bottom line is that the wolf felt heard. The people understood what was happening with the wolf, that experience, that there was an action out of self-defense. But then they also remembered that we coexist together, and we can coexist by helping one another. We can coexist without fearing one another because we are embraced and embodied in love. And this story illustrates that the more we focus on, that's what we get more of. And we can't always use fear and struggle to create a solution. And do we see that being played out? Sometimes in our own families. We don't have to turn on the news. We can look at experiences that are happening in our own families where we recognize that this conflict is not going to lead to any sort of a solution. So using love as our compass, we are led to new possibilities, recognizing that love is the answer. And so we embrace it, we feel it, we rejoice in it, we talk about it, we share it, and we celebrate it. Ernest Holmes wrote this in the book Ideas of Power on page 188. I think love is the only security there is in the universe. There is nothing worthwhile without it. We must have love for everybody. And then the third aspect that we look at this morning is universal community. Recognizing that life is more than just us and them. We are part of what is known as a multi-universe that is bigger than we can imagine. We are one energy in multiple forms. And if any of you are following scientific research and scientific developments, there are more and more universes, there are more and more planets that are being discovered that we did not know of before. So we're grateful for the advances of technology and just a way of expanding our appreciation and awareness for the vastness of life. Our evolving awareness recognizes that there is more to life than our current understanding. And we can let ourselves off the hook. This is the good news. We can let ourselves off the hook by acknowledging we cannot know what we do not know yet. The operative word here, yet. This is an invitation to continue to expand our awareness. We can be okay with not knowing and continuously look around in love, wonder, and curiosity. Being open to learning more and more, being more. And it's okay to focus on out there. However, we must first be present within ourselves, embracing the unknown with a sense of wonder and curiosity that is guided by love and openness. You get the idea that the underlying theme in all of this is love? That love is all that there is? That is the love of God that is all there is? There is no higher idea than this love? Giant gentleness allows us to create a loving community with people from a place of genuineness. And so let us walk the earth with intention and love, staying connected and listening to each other with an open heart. This is ours to be. This is ours to do. This is our grand rising. As our call to action, Ernest Holmes offers this, and unfortunately I don't know the source. There is something about you and me that is cosmic, universal, that stretches over time and space. Let us learn to think better of ourselves. There is something about you and me that is cosmic, universal, and stretches over time and space. Let us learn to think better of ourselves. And as we learn to think better of ourselves, we act by intentionally giving ourselves grace. Remembering this truth. We are one. Many faces, many names, many skin tones, many genders, many opinions, many geographic regions, many cultures, many education experiences, and so much, much more. Now is the time to love one another, to share this gentleness with everything and everyone else, recognizing that the love of life is our humanity. We celebrate who we are, and we have faith in where we are going. And let us now say our affirmation together. The world is alive as love itself. Let's say that again. The world is alive as love itself. And I invite us to take in a collective breath, just breathing in, releasing. Just breathe in again and releasing. As we join together in prayer, we join in consciousness embracing Ernest Holmes' words. There is something about you and me that is cosmic, universal, that stretches over time and space. Let us learn to think better of ourselves. And so, right here, right now, in this very moment, I acknowledge this cosmic universal presence as the only thing that there is, this one life, this one source of all that there is. I know that I am one with this cosmic presence, and that is the truth for each one that is gathered here in person and that is viewing by means of technology. And I'm knowing that the truth of all of this is that love is the healing balm. It is a healing power. It is that which allows us to put aside our differences and to focus on our likenesses. We lead with unity. We lead with compassion. We lead with grace. We lead with forgiveness. We lead with joy. We lead with expectancy. And where we lead, others will follow. Because it is more than our words. It is the example that we live. And so I am affirming and declaring right here and right now that each one is setting an example of unconditional love. Beginning with that inner love, recognizing that I am all that love is, and love is all that I am. And so as we spread this love, we spread it generously, we spread it in those places where there is darkness that is calling out for the light of awareness of truth, that we're all connected. I bless places where individuals are gathering in the name and nature of love and truth and wholeness, knowing that where two or more are gathered, the presence is always there, this presence which is never in absence. I speak a word of blessing this morning for those who are experiencing illness, those who are expressing transitions in life. Maybe a loved one has stepped off of the mortal plane into immortality. Perhaps there is an opportunity for a greater expression or experience of the right to livelihood. There may be a desire for right and perfect living accommodations, whether those accommodations be outside or inside. We take the time to honor and respect the choice and to create an environment which is secure and supportive and loving for all, recognizing that each one chooses the path to follow based on their connection with the one life and this one power and this one presence. And so honoring all choices, honoring those places where it may look different from the choice that we would make, I'm knowing that the truth of wholeness, the truth of right living, the truth of right choice is all that there is right here and right now in this moment. And so for this and so much more, I am eternally grateful, giving thanks for the word is spoken, knowing that my word has set a new cause in motion and that this word cannot and will not come back void. It must produce what I have declared. And so in gratitude for the demonstration, I release this now into that law, which always says yes. And I invite you to affirm this with me by saying, and so it is, and so it is, and so it. I would just like to take this opportunity to remind those of you who are here in the center that we do have a prayer chest. We have prayer request forms. I encourage you to fill one out and to allow the prayer team to be in support with you and for you, knowing that the universe says yes to whatever the request is. I believe there's a passage in the scripture that says, make your request known, and they will be answered. And so take the opportunity to utilize this service that is available to you. And for those who are watching virtually, we have a secure place on our website for you to submit prayer requests. And also, I invite you to go to our newsletter. We have a World Ministry of Prayer sponsored by our Centers of Spiritual Living. The contact information is in the newsletter. And also, we partner with Silent Unity, and their contact information is in the newsletter. So there is not a spot where God is not, and there's not a spot where prayer is not available. And now it is time for us to share in the celebration of giving, the circulation of our abundance. And we have an affirmation of abundance. I invite us to say together now, I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And so on our screen, for those of you who are viewing virtually, are the various ways that you may contribute to our center. For those of you who are here in the center, giving is a conscious decision that is made between the individual and their source. It is recommended that individuals tithe or make a committed giving pledge, because that is what helps us with our budget planning and all of the other details that go along with running an organization. It is not my responsibility to respond to any comment about who places something in the basket or who does not. That is between each individual and their consciousness. I appreciate those who donate online, those who donate via our Breeze, those who donate via an IRA distribution. We appreciate all of your donations. And so I'm going to ask Richard now to pass the basket for those of you who are here in the center. And Amy is Amy going to do the other side? Okay. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your love.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful.
Thank you again for your generosity. Just a few items to share with our YouTube and Facebook family, just things to be aware of. Here at the Monterey Center, we acknowledge all traditions and all faith paths. And so there are a couple of things that are happening this first week in May that I bring your attention to. The month of May is Asian American and Pacific Islander recognition. It's their Heritage Month. And so we salute our fellow earth beings. Trying to be politically correct can be. I recognize our friends and family and connections within the Asian and Pacific Islander communities. We love you and we support you and we bless you. May 1st is May Day, and I had a flashback to grammar school, doing the maypole. I think it was grammar school, one of those earlier years. Uh, on May 2nd is the National Day of Prayer, and you're invited to just stop wherever you are. Well, not necessarily stop, but include in your prayer experience just the unity and the oneness of all life. As we pray for peace, as we pray for understanding, as we pray for awareness for all people in all places everywhere. Uh, May 4th is World Labyrinth Day, and there are several labyrinths that are near our center, and I invite you to go online and look up a location that is near you. And I know last year, I haven't seen the announcement yet from Centers of Spiritual Living, but last year there was an invitation to walk the labyrinth at 1. 1 at 1 was the theme. And so at 1 o'clock on May 4th, if you are available, take advantage of walking a labyrinth, or maybe go online and just follow that experience. It is a wonderful experience. And then on next Sunday is the celebration of Cinco de Mayo. And so as we say good morning to our Facebook and our YouTube viewers, we invite you to like, comment, and share so that we get the algorithms. You know, there's a method behind this request. It's the algorithms that allow our channel to continue to be viewed. And the more likes we get, the more shares we get, and the more comments we have, it boosts our presence. And it's all about spreading this word that God is love and that everyone is a part of the cosmic family. And so we invite you to do that. And we invite you to return next week as we begin our May series, which is Good to Great to Grand. I think there was a book by that title, The Unity Minister. The name will come to me. But we're beginning our series, Good to Great to Grand, and our topic will be the inner landscape. We love you. We thank God for you, and take this consciousness and multiply it. And for those of